Mabrika! Welcome everyone to this new episode of Let's Talk Taíno. I'm your host, Priscilla Colon, co-founder and creative here at Areyto, where our mission is to promote the Taíno language and culture. So I'm super excited for today's episode. So if I can take you back about a year when I started studying Taíno, I realized that a lot of the music that I listened to in Spanish includes Taíno words in them. So I wanted to share with you some of my favorite artists so that you can listen to some of the music and realize that they're using Taíno too. So one of the first artists that I recommend is Irka Mateo. She is this wonderful Taíno culture researcher, singer, and songwriter. And she posts like amazing things on YouTube as well, just to introduce people to the Taíno culture. And she comes up with her own songs completely in Taíno, so it's really cool to listen to them. So I highly recommend Irka Mateo. A second singer that I'm sure all of you are familiar with is Juan Luis Guerra. Juan Luis Guerra is also a Dominican singer, songwriter, composer, poet. I mean, just amazing. He's known all over the world as like the king of merengue and bachata. But you'll notice that if you listen carefully to his songs, they include a lot of Taíno words and phrases that are still being used in the Dominican Republic, Kiskéya, today. So one of the artists that I recently discovered in the last year was Vicente GARCÍA. He's also a Dominican artist. He is a singer and songwriter and composer. He's a 3-time Latin Grammy winner. And his music is a fusion of bachata, merengue, reggae, ska, hip-hop, funk. He sings in English, Spanish, French, and he includes a lot of Taíno words and phrases and cultural references, which we're going to talk about today. So one of the songs that I want to share with you today is called La Esquinita, The Little Corner, and it is from Vicente GARCÍA's album A la Mar, which means to the sea. So first off, this song was written when Vicente GARCÍA's father died. And there are a few lyrics that are kind of hidden in there that I want to share with you. One of them is, Cuando tienes que pasar por el árbol de guayaba. That means when you have to pass by the guava tree. Y en la esquinita de mi pecho sembré guayaba. And in the little corner of my chest, I planted guava. Again, the reference to guava. I wonder what that's about. Y en la esquinita de mi pecho hallé guaybay. And in the little corner of my chest, I found guaybay. Guaybay, that's a clue. So let's take a look at the Taíno meaning of guaybay and then figure out what he's saying in these lyrics. So in Taíno spirituality, guaybay is sometimes called the dwelling place of those who are absent. It's where the spirits of the dead go. This guaybay is a watery underworld that can only be accessed via sacred caves. It's very similar to the Inca, the Aztec, and the Mayan afterlife. So watery underworld, that's what guaybay is. And if you think about the fact that he wrote this when his father passed, kind of makes sense that he would mention guaybay in his lyrics. So let's learn a little bit more about guaybay. So guaybay was associated with the west, where the sun sets, because Gwe, the sun, would go to guaybay at night. It is a metaphorical cycle of life, daytime, and death, nighttime. Now, I have to say, guaybay is not a heaven or hell like the Christian sense. Taínos did not believe in that. Guaybay is just a place where the spirits of the dead go. So in Taíno spirituality, Maketaurie, Guayaba, is the lord of guaybay. He is thought to be the first cacique to go there. It's like the first ancestor or cacique ancestor who ended up dying, and now he is cacique of guaybay. Now, if you look closely at Maketaurie Guayaba's name, you'll notice that it starts with ma or mat, which means not. Linguists believe that coque which is to live in Arawak, is also there. So make literally means not living. So isn't that a cool thing? Now, let's take a look at the last part of his name, guayaba, guava. So now we're getting somewhere, right, with those lyrics. In Taíno spirituality, Opiya, and there are a few variations on this spelling, are the spirit of the dead. Notice that Opiya ends with ya, which means spirit, very similar to yaya, correct? So these Opiya are released from the body when someone dies, and then they go to Kwaibai. So the Opiya were associated with bats, nighttime creatures that live in caves, right? You can only access Kwaibai through caves. The Opiya were thought to be able to transform themselves into bats, so they would hide during the day in the caves and then come out at night and eat sweet guayaba. So now that we have all of this background information on Taíno spirituality, we can go back to Vicente García's lyrics and figure out their exact meaning. So let's take a look at those again. So when he says, when you have to pass by the guava tree, what he probably means to say is something along the lines of when you have to face the death of a loved one. Then when he says, and in the little corner of my chest, I planted guava. What he probably means is I planted a guava tree in my heart so that my loved one can come visit me. And isn't that beautiful? So he says, I'm going to plant a guava tree so my father, who is passed on, his spirit can come back and visit me in my heart. And the last bit of lyric is, and in the little corner of my chest, I found Kwaibai. So what he's saying is, I found Kwaibai in my heart. That means that my ancestors who have passed on, they're always with me in my heart because they're going to come back and visit me. So isn't that just a beautiful message to receive from our Taíno ancestors? Our ancestors aren't really gone. They're always here with us to guide us. So while we were analyzing these lyrics from Vicente García, we also learned some new Taíno words along the way. Let's take a look at those. Opiya, spirit of a dead person. Kwaibai, the spirit world. Guayaba, guava. Maquetaurie guayaba, mythical cacique and lord of Kwaibai. If you want more information on Taíno brujería, spirituality, espiritismo, I highly recommend that you follow Bruja Cat. She has an awesome series tackling each and every single one of the Taíno semis. So thank you again for joining me. I hope that you like this lesson. It's a little bit different, but I wanted to teach you a little bit about Taíno culture and spirituality. If you like this channel, if you like the videos that I'm creating, please let me know. If you have other ideas, please don't forget to write them in the comments below. In the meantime, remember to check out our children's books too. They're a great way to teach kids new Taíno words and phrases. Again, I love that you're here with me. I love that you are learning about Taíno and Taíno spirituality. I know together we can bring back Taíno. In the meantime, Tai Karaya Guaitiao Nagu.